Hello and welcome again to another episode from Astrophotography 101. In this episode, we're gonna discuss telescope accessories or astrophotography accessories. Some of these accessories will be mandatory, some of these accessories will be optional. It will depend mainly about the conditions that you are photographing in. The condition that you are photographing in. Some of them will be mandatory for cold areas, some of them will be mandatory for remote areas, and so on. So without further ado, let's discuss these options. The first option is the simplest one, which is a Bahtinov mask. A Bahtinov mask is this one, which is actually a tool to help you focus. How it does that? By showing you some rays on the screen based on the pattern that this mask provide from the start that you are pointing your telescope towards. And I will be showing this in details when it comes to the episode of the ASI Air. For now, know that it's not 100% mandatory. You can do your focus by your hand, but it's a very cheap tool that will help you reach focus in a better way. Secondly, the other alternative for something like the Bahtinov mask will be an EAF, which is an electronic automatic focuser. It's a specific piece that you install on the focuser here, and it will do the focus automatically for you based on the software that you are using, similarly to what you can do with ASI Air. You buy this kit, you connect it to your ASI Air because it requires power through a 12 volt, and then your ASI Air will detect it, and once it's detected you can go through the steps of focusing through ASI Air, and it will keep your focus all the night. Is it mandatory? Most of the time, no. However, if you live in an area that temperature drops dramatically during the night, then your telescope is made of lenses and it has aluminium housing, and aluminium contract with dropping in temperature. So it will change the focus a little bit. It will change the size of the metal a little bit. It's about microns, but they will be enough to change your image and get it out of focus a little bit. If you are looking for perfection, if you're looking for something that is going to be a stunning image that doesn't have focus all night, then an automatic focuser will be your best option, since during the night the focus is changing and you can set up your focuser to tell ASI Air to check the focus or to adjust the focuser with a specific degrees, and this focuser comes with a temperature sensor, so it sends the temperature in the air, and once the temperature drops by a specific number you asserted, for example 3 degrees or 4 degrees, that it will perform an automatic focusing to make sure that the image in focus all night long. So this is the accessories that you need for focusing. There is another accessory which is most of the people use in cold countries and in cold weather, which is basically this part here. It's a dew heater, and quickly to understand dew heaters, they prevent dew from accumulating on the main lens in the front. The dew shield here, as we mentioned before, it gives it a little bit of protection towards dew, but when the temperature drops, so the dew possibility increases, since the dew is actually the point where the air cannot hold the moisture in it anymore, and it becomes transformed from vapor into water, into liquid. So this keeps your lens warm in order for it to not have dew in the front, which will be a big obstacle when it comes to astrophotography. Some of them have a connector of 12 volt, some of them have a connector of USB nowadays. However, if you are using ASI Air, you will need a connector that will change from USB to 12 volt adapter in order for it to insert it in the ASI Air, and you will be good to go there. However, just remember that dew heaters take a lot of power and they require a strong battery in order for it to be powered all night long. Next accessory is a filter wheel. Electronic filter wheel is mandatory for people who's capturing with a monochrome camera, since as we discussed earlier, you need a red filter, blue filter, and a green filter to capture those. And instead of you moving them manually, which is a lot of pain, then you can install an electronic filter wheel here and connect it to your ASI Air with a USB cable, and your ASI Air will be able to move all the filters accordingly, and it will capture the whole night all the filters you need. But as we said before, it's not recommended to start with a monochrome camera, so this is going to be a mandatory only for the people who's using a monochrome camera. The next one is going to be a camera rotator, and the camera rotator is basically something you connect also here within the light path, and these element allow you to rotate the camera during the night if you want to frame your image in a different way. And this is also controlled electronically, and you can do everything you want to do from inside of your house. You don't need to be outside. It's not a mandatory thing, it's very optional to me, for example, that I never use a rotator, and I don't think that I will ever use a rotator, since most of the images I am doing is from my balcony or from the desert, and in both of them I'm next to my telescope. But this is because the temperature in my areas are in the 20s or in the 30 degrees Celsius, and this is a very comfortable temperature to work in. But however, if you are living in a cold area and you are capturing from your backyard and you want to be sitting comfortably inside your house, then this will be a help for you. As a beginner of astrophotography, you don't need most of those accessories, but I will always recommend a Bahtinov mask to start with. It's a very cheap accessory, and it will not cost you a lot to use, and it's very easy and makes your life much easier. A dew heater also will be mandatory if you are living in a cold area, high humidity area, and that's it for accessories. I hope by now you know all the components of the telescope. We now finished all the components of the telescope, and then the next episode I'll be showing you is like a summary for everything we did. It will be a long episode, but it will be in a fast pace, and it will give you a recommendation for every single part you want in a broadband detail. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.